It's December 25th, so as a Muslim, to my Christian brothers and sisters, I want to say, Mary, the mother of Jesus, was truly a great woman. I thought I was going to say Merry Christmas. Look, I genuinely hope your day is filled with peace and blessings the same way I hope this for you every day, and may God guide us all to the truth. I know many Christians wish Muslims a happy Eid, and some wonder why we don't return the same sentiment. The reason I try to refrain from saying Merry Christmas isn't because I don't want you to enjoy your day. It's simply because for most people, this day is connected to the belief that God was born in the flesh. And as a Muslim, I disagree with that theology. No matter how good our intentions are, Islam teaches us to avoid anything that associates partners with God. That is the greatest sin in Islam. So, if you pass by a Muslim today and they don't wish you a Merry Christmas, please don't take it as disrespect or bad manners. We're just trying to stay true to our beliefs, and that doesn't mean we don't wish you well. So today and every day, may your day be filled with peace, joy, and blessings. How Bible College led me to Islam. As a teenager, I genuinely wanted to be a pastor. I dreamed of having my own church, so after high school, I enrolled in Bible college to study counseling and theology. Now, I grew up in very Protestant churches, Pentecostal and non-denominational churches that believed in modern-day gifts of the Spirit, prophecy, healing, speaking in tongues. Yeah, I was one of those Christians, and I truly believed it. I experienced things that felt very real to me. And then I enrolled in a Christian college near me that happened to be Baptist, and my theology professor didn't believe those gifts still existed. He taught that prophecy and miracles were only for a specific time in history, and that they ended after the message of Jesus was spread by his disciples. And that forced me to question something huge. My pastor at the time claimed to be a prophet. He said he had visions and heard the voice of God, and he became like a spiritual father to me. He had major influence over my life and my decisions. So suddenly, I was stuck between my personal experiences and what I was being taught academically. So I prayed to God to guide me to the truth, and for the first time, I was really forced to evaluate everything I believed in. And then something else happened. I took a world religions class. The goal was to teach us about other religions so we could win souls for Christ. And when we got to Islam, my professor brought in 2 Muslim men to speak to our class. That was the first time I'd ever heard about Islam from the perspective of actual Muslims. They talked about believing in the same prophets, the similarities and differences. One of them said he owned a Bible and that he treated it with the same respect as the Quran, never placing it on the floor, never putting anything on top of it or bringing it in the bathroom. He said they respect all religions and they shouldn't even kill a fly without a valid reason. Now, I was a white American kid. I found religion on my own at 10 years old, and there was no religion in my home. So everything I thought I knew about Islam came from school, the news, or people around me. But I was open enough to listen. I still remained deeply rooted in my Christian faith at the time and didn't actually become a Muslim until about 7 years later. But that moment planted a seed. And here's the lesson I took from it. Challenge your beliefs, especially the ones you have an emotional attachment to. Ask God for guidance and be open enough to look for truth through all the noise and opinions. So as a non-Muslim, if I'll never be a Muslim, do I have to pay jizya? And if I refuse, will I be killed based on the Quran? No, you would not be killed. Jizya was a civil tax, not a punishment and not a forced conversion tool. In Muslim-ruled lands, Muslims paid zakat and were obligated to military service. Non-Muslims were exempt from military service, kept their own religious courts, practiced their faith freely, and in return they paid jizya, a tax for civic participation and state protection, just like taxes in any government. If a non-Muslim served in the army, jizya was often waived. If the state failed to protect them, jizya was returned, and this happened historically. Jizya was not paid by women, children, monks, the poor, the elderly, or the disabled. Refusing to pay jizya was treated just like refusing taxes anywhere else. It's a legal issue, not a death sentence. If Islam were to force conversion, Christianity and Judaism would have never survived for centuries under Muslim rule. Now, let's take a look at the Quran verse people often quote. It says, "Fight those who do not believe in Allah in the last day, nor abide by what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth from among those who were given the scripture, until they pay the jizya willingly while they are humbled." Now let's check a few things here. First, the Quran says fight. This verse was revealed during an actual wartime conflict, meaning organized fighting between political groups, not civilians, neighbors, or peaceful communities. And when it says what has been forbidden, this is not talking about personal sins like eating pork or drinking wine. It refers to political hostility, treaty violations, and rebellion during war. Every classical Muslim commentary explains this is not a general command to kill non-Muslims. It is a wartime ruling about how conflict ends. And the verse itself shows how it ends. When jizya is accepted, fighting stops. The phrase humbled does not mean accepting Islam or being abused. It means accepting state authority, laying down arms, and ending war. You don't tax people you're trying to kill. The verse is about ending conflict, not forcing belief. So no, you're not killed for being non-Muslim. And no, you're not paying a faith tax. You are paying a civic tax in place of the religious tax and military duty that Muslims had. So anyone killing non-Muslims for their belief is acting outside the teachings of Islam, ignoring the Quran's language, context, and centuries of scholarship. It's the same mistake Islamophobes are making when they quote these verses without context. The overwhelming majority of Muslims understand this correctly, and that is why Muslims and non-Muslims have lived peacefully together for centuries and still do today.